given moment, we have two options: step forwards into growth or step back into safety. Dare to succeed and share a moment with us in the moment.
So I had a pump. So I bought a pump that's non-stim. That's like a non-stim pump.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't understand. Maybe it's in my head. But I mean, I forgot I'd even was drinking it. But when I was doing my workout, I was just drinking it, and then my face just goes like fucking tingly.
Yeah. Oh, tingly.
Yeah, like I feel tingles through my body.
That's beta alanine. Is it almost like itchy? Like
yeah, like irritating.
Yeah,
I rip my fucking skin off.
I can't do it. I can't. A pump. Pumps don't normally have beta alanine in.
I fully know. Do you want me to let me go fetch it?
Show me it, because I am like allergic to beta alanine, I swear. I am so freaking excited.
Oh, right, I'm back. I think there was some
me just letting out some frustration.
There was some Jeremy Kyle going on in my front room, I reckon.
A what?
Some Jeremy Kyle. My dad was on the phone, and Adam, my brother's here, and so he got dad on the phone. My mum and dad are not together, and mum's just sat crocheting, and I heard the conversation about garlic, and then dad said, "Oh, your mum was a good cook," and then Adam was like, "She is a good cook, not that she was," and I was like, "Right, I'm gonna get my pump bag."
That sounds like a debate you don't want to get involved in.
So this is what I got.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
So what's the thing that you think it is?
It's called beta alanine.
Would it be in?
It should be in the ingredient.
Oh yeah, 16 grams per 100 grams.
Yeah.
Literally, like when I had
it's horrible.
That all black everything. Horrible. Fucking hell! Like I was in the gym with Becky.
I get it. Did you feel it in like your ass crack?
No, mine's like literally in my face. It just no, like I would say it's here, and then in my like arms, I just feel like I'm like
it's horrible. I can't do it. That's
why anyway, when I took that, I was fucking lifting heavy shit. So
really,
yeah, that's when I did that 380 leg press.
Jesus. See, I like the buzz, but without the beta. Like the beta just irritates me. It makes me like I get like red blotches all over my legs.
It says Nox pump though.
So pumps essentially it increases vasodilation, which means it means that so that's like increasing the like opening the blood vessels so you can get like nutrients and stuff like to the muscles quickly, and pumps. But yeah, pumps are really, really good.
This makes sense because it says to have 30 minutes before working out, but I just started drinking it as I was working out. So then by the time I got to cardio, I was like,
that is mad. Yeah, I can't do stim. Like I've got the supplement needs pre-focus is fucking fantastic. They do a pre-pump as well. So it's got like all the caffeine, like all the stim that you want, but without the beta. I just can't.
Like the EAAs.
Yeah.
Right. So am I supposed to have this, drink that, and then have my EAAs whilst I'm working out?
So your pump you would treat like pre-workout.
That's just a lot of fluid.
Well, pump you should only probably have like that much fluid.
But if you were to put it in here, fill my thing up.
No, you only need like that much for pump. Pump and pre-workout, like you literally need Like, what is it? Like 250, maybe 200. What does it say on there?
It says 250 to 400. So yeah, I probably have maybe about 500.
Fucking hell. But yeah, like I would just, or you could even dry scoop it. Are you doing it now? Fuck's sake.
I think I might vomit if I did it now.
Yeah. So
why would you want to do that with your life?
You just dry scoop it and then like swig a bit of water.
That's not okay.
No? Not a fan? Okay. No, you're going to be buzzing off your tits.
I only had a little finger.
Just a little one.
Yeah, so I was drinking that instead of my EAAs, but then I thought after, maybe I should have them. But the thing with them, I find that I end up weeing loads.
Yeah.
Like, so it just runs through me.
Yeah. Your EAAs, like with Ross, he'll fill up do you know the big water bottles that you get? Yeah, like he would put his in, but then fill that up and drink that through the whole session. Like I can't do that. I can't drink a lot of fluid when I'm training, so like I'll have that max.
Yeah, so I would have my 500ml drink, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
So I'd either have like 500ml of that, or I'd have 500ml of EAA, and then when I get on to cardio, I have a litre bottle of water, but I don't always drink it. Depends how I'm feeling.
Yeah, but no, like pump and pre-workout, you would treat that as like something you would have like 20-30 minutes before you go to the gym. And then once you've got to the gym, like it's gone through your system, and then it's like,
I just think about all the washing up, me. All these pots that I just have to keep washing.
Well, you would just have the one shaker, put your 250 mils in, put your pump or pre-workout in, neck it, like wash it out, and then put your EAs in it.
So I normally make mine up and leave them in the fridge. So I'll make my EAAs up and then leave like 2 of them in the fridge, and that'll be 2 days, because I don't like loop. I'm a bit of a snob with council pop, so I prefer like bottled water.
Water from like down your way is fucking minging. Like tap water up here is like bottled water. It's incredible.
Yeah. So I am a bit of I drink tap water if it's been in the fridge and it's colder, so that's why I fill my bottles up and put them in the fridge.
Right, okay.
Because then they're okay to drink. Other than that, if I have like room temperature, it has to be bottled, because clearly privileged and save the planet and all that, you know.
But how though that bottled water taste is like how tap water tastes up here.
It's bizarre, that, isn't it? It's just because we're dirty.
Well, I don't know, but like when I lived in Lincoln, I never really realised. I used to drink tap water all the time, but then when I moved up here and I tried the tap water, and then when I went back to Lincoln and tried it, I was like, this is fucking rank. Like my mum and dad don't drink tap water. They buy like the big crates of bottled water. My dad is so fussy. He's like, nope, won't do it.
Fair play to your dad. Fair play. I mean, we could live in the same house. I understand. Yeah, so how was your week been?
It's been like
it's been
we'll just leave it there. Yeah, it's been a tough one. I think for me though, as like a coach and an athlete, like I have come on, like I've had like a realization over the past couple of days where I'm like, do you know what, I'm actually capable of like so much. And I think once you break through that barrier, it's like, fuck, I could literally have the world. Like the world is my oyster. Like
you have the world.
Yeah. Like nothing is like not achievable.
And how are you gonna bring all these things into effect? Here we are. This is a good segue into actually what this podcast is about today.
What do you mean?
So how do you feel like the world is now your oyster? You feel like you can conquer the shit out of it. How are you gonna make actionable steps to bring all these things into fruition?
So number one, I think the biggest thing, gratitude daily. to keep that, I think it helps keep the momentum, I think. And then just, I think, analysing every aspect of my life and thinking, right, is this the most optimal it can be to get me where I want to be? And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Do you feel like when you started this bodybuilding journey, did you ever have a thing in your head of what you wanted, I don't know, to look like, where you wanted to be, how you wanted things to be?
I think in my mind, like, I had goals, and I thought, it's so difficult to put into words. It's not what I expected it to be. Like, my life has not panned out how I expected it to pan out, business wise, you know, training wise, goals wise. It's only really recently where things have come to light and I'm like, wow. But no, like, I did have in my mind, like, I really wanted to look like this athlete, like this look, I wanted this. And then going through my off season and then thinking, oh yeah, my legs look massive, but not actually realizing the majority of that was fat. So then once I dieted down, I was like, it was a huge reality check, like huge reality check. And it made me realize that this is, like, I'm in this for the long game. Like, this is going to take years. And that is fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. If anything, it just makes me more hungry to know that I'm just going to be like constantly working towards this. It's not even like, I'm not even like outcome driven. It literally is the process, and like how I'm developing as a person, as an athlete, and as a coach on a day-to-day basis is just so exciting. And like, I'm always excited to like go to bed and then wake up and just do it all over again.
Do you feel like you've achieved the look that you had in your head 2 years ago?
Well, when I dieted down for stage, no. I didn't think I was going to look that thin, and like that like the muscularity just wasn't there. Obviously, it takes years. It takes years to build dense muscle, unless you're some sort of like genetic freak.
I think I might be a genetic freak on my leg.
Your legs are just unreal.
Everywhere else is pretty shit, but I'll have beastly legs, I'm sure.
No, your upper, like your biceps are like coming in now as well, aren't they?
I think if you stripped all the fat off my body, I'm not sure that I would have necessarily a strong enough upper. But I definitely think if you strip the fat off my legs, there'd still be beastly muscles under them.
Yeah, like they are so dense.
But yeah, but like, I mean, there'll be no six-pack. That'll be non-existent.
There will be, like, next year. It'll come. It'll come.
And look, do you know what the blessing is? I say blessing is that because I had like the excess skin, my fat deposited like a second pair of boobs under my actual boobs. So then now they've pulled it all back slightly. It gives a shimmer of a six-pack look when there's absolutely fuck all six-pack there. So I literally saw someone messaged me the other day on Instagram and was like, oh my God, your abs are coming in. I'm like, they're really not. I'm like, oh, there is no abs there, but thank you, because that shimmer of light gives off that idea.
Shit, I didn't put that lid on properly.
Squirted it everywhere.
But yeah, no, that so is that what you were saying the other day about the fat pockets?
No, so I was told that basically, like, as children, when you're obese, well, you know, just as children, we develop like fat pockets to store all these fat in the fat. Yeah. And then when people in like your young years, it's easier for your body to produce these fat pockets. Whereas as you get older, it becomes like harder for your body to actually produce them. So if you lose weight, so if I was like a fat kid and then I got to like 20 and I then lost loads of weight, my body still holds.
Okay, see you soon. Love you.
My body still holds the fat pockets.
Oh, okay.
So basically that's why when you've been overweight and you've lost weight, it's easier to put the weight back on. It's not just habits and things. Like your body is actually like easier because it's already got the holes ready to store the fat.
That's really interesting. I've never actually heard that before.
I mean, it could be a load of bullshit. It's just what I was told. I've never researched it.
I know when like when I was prepping for my first show, like I hold the majority of my body fat like just under my glutes, and it pisses me off. But like my old coach said to me, he was like, Alice, you know, you've been carrying around this particular fat for your entire life. Like it's going to be really, really hard. It's going to take years for that to actually like come off. And like it is true what they say, like your first prep, you're never going to be your leanest. Like you're just not. It's going to take a few times to get to that hardness. But when I said that to Erin, I was like, oh yeah. He said that like it's going to take years for that to come off. She was like, no. I was like, okay. I was like, okay.
I was told the analogy as well that it's like a swimming pool. So as in like in a swimming pool you have that sort of like slant, don't you? So if this is like the pool, so that's the pool. So you have your shallow end and your deep end.
And then you the deeper end.
So as you lose weight, like the water level is coming down, but if you hold like the majority of your fat on your belly and then it's your back and then it's your bum, whatever, so as the water goes down you'll see a decrease in your bum, but you might not notice it in your back or your belly because it's just got more to lose.
They say you're only as lean you're only as lean as your fattest part, if that makes sense. So if your fattest part is not as lean as say like your leanest part, then you're not lean enough. Does that make sense?
So if your fattest part isn't lean, you're not lean enough.
Yeah.
But then surely
you're only as lean as your fattest part.
But then just like how lean does another area get before that part loses its fatness?
You just need to keep pushing, keep digging. Like,
what point does that get dangerous though?
Well, prepping is dangerous. Like I'm not saying it's dangerous, but it's not healthy. You're taking yourself down to body fat levels that are just not normal. But you're literally doing it to stand on stage, and then it's literally just for that one moment, and then you come straight out of it. Like it's not sustainable at all, and that's why it's done over a period of time. But minimal time to a certain degree. Like it's not healthy to walk around looking like that at all.
So how do they manage? Oh, this is completely off what we were going to talk about now, but hey, fuck it. How do they manage, like, so when people do multiple competitions, how do they sustain being that lean for the extended period of time?
It would just be down to how you manage, like it's literally managed on a day-to-day basis. Like I don't know when it comes to like timescales and stuff. So if I take Ross, for example, he did his first show, probably wouldn't have been like 100%. He'd probably be like 90% ready, if that makes sense. So he'd do that show, and then he's got 2 weeks. He would have 2 weeks in between. So that's that show and then the second show. So again, it would just be a case of digging. So I had an off-plan meal, and then he'd go back into digging. So straight back to cardio, straight back to essentially the setup he had before, just to keep pushing things on to get a little bit tighter and a little bit leaner. But then you also need to take into consideration peak week. So Monday through to Sunday is going to be a day where you start like really a week where you really start managing fatigue. And then with that, it's like removing cardio, pushing food up. reducing training volume and things like that. So you're refueling and replenishing like all the glycogen and things like that, like and just I think more so it's just so he can recover a little bit. So you do that, and then he's got a week, so his last show will be the weekend after. So this show he's doing this weekend, he won't get any off-plan meals, he won't get anything that's kind of going to offset.
You're having a burger, are you?
I'm having a burger, yeah. I'm not in prep.
Poor us.
I'm fucking through the floor. Yesterday I messaged Erin, I was like, I feel like I'm in prep, like I am fucking starving. I was at that point where I was like getting that buzz, like the feeling of like sabotaging. I was getting like an exciting buzz. I was like, oh my God, I could do that. I could eat that. But it wouldn't help me at all. If anything, it would just be like a downhill spiral. Because once you feed your body a little bit, it's going to want it so much more. So I went and bought myself a Monster, second Monster of the day yesterday. I broke my own rule again. But yeah, no, because she'd said that like I'm not in prep, and I need a refeed. Like I'm due on my Menzies in 10 days as well. So we're getting to that stage now where training is going to be like pulled back a little bit. I can get this refeed at the weekend. It's going to help massively on a psychological level as well. So
how important is when people like have deficits, how important is it to have refeeds?
So it depends on how harsh you're going, to be honest.
What if it's an extended period of, so most people like in diet life would have had like, it's because I was talking to someone about this yesterday, might have been like dieting for like 2 years and may have been like, well, you look like that, but like I literally had a lady that I work with that said I've been on a diet since 1979.
Like was she actually in a calorie deficit for that long?
No, because none of them, she did it for a bit and then they weren't sustainable, and then she went back to a different diet and that wasn't sustainable, so then she went back on a diet. Like it was just a yo-yo.
Like yo-yoing.
But like some people I know, I mean, they might not have been completely religious, but they have been, you know, fairly religious for like 2 years in a deficit of like, you know, let's say they're on 1,600 calories for like the last 2 years. Like how sustainable is that?
It's fucking not.
I know, honestly, like loads of people. And I said to you, like, when we spoke about after surgery, I was like, well, I want to go in like a deficit, like a heavy deficit. And you said, like, that's not feasible. And I was like, but why? Like, I've just been in a deficit for like over a year of 1,500 calories. Why is that not feasible? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just not, like on a hormone perspective level as well. Like your body needs a certain amount of calories to live, to function. That's your BMR. And like when it comes to a deficit, like to be honest, if somebody was truly in a deficit that low for 2 years, there'd be nothing fucking left of them.
Well, yeah, because obviously I honestly believe this, and I do know that like there will be points in that journey that they've come off plan or had nights out or, you know, had takeaway. Like, of course, they haven't stuck religiously to that every single day, but then on the vast majority, so if you took 365 days of a year and let's say 340 of them, they've been fairly accurate. It's just like, you know, 25, which I guess is like maybe a month out of a year they haven't stuck religiously. Like, would that be a sustainable way of life? Like, because is it a similar thing if they go out and have like a few days off plan because they're out for dinner or blah blah? Would that be similar to just having a refeed?
It would just depend on like their, like how tall they are, like how much they weighed and things like that. Like actually working out that deficit per their BMR and seeing like anything past the 30% deficit is like not optimal at all. That is going to lead to, you know, a lack of adherence, psychological issues, hormone issues.
Because at the end of the day, like, you know, although I might have been in a deficit of like, well, probably like 2,000 calories when I started day, it won't be 2,000 calories now. So like in my head, people that maybe have gone to like 1,500 calories over a year, as their weight's decreased, actually like 1,500 calories is now just base. It's like, I always feel like people's bodies just adjust to what they get.
It's hard to say.
Like, because, I honestly do. I know that I don't know about the science behind it, but I truly believe that some people, like when you go into a cycle, like if I was so used to not eating breakfast, and people are like, how can you not eat breakfast? But I'm just accustomed to not eating breakfast. My mum, right, there's no way. So my mum eats on a typical day. Maybe she'll have a sandwich at dinner, and that pushes it, but you know, a sandwich of some description. And then at night time, she might eat like 3 bags of crisps with a bit of Philadelphia cheese and have a bottle of wine. That's my mum's diet pretty much every single day.
Yeah.
My mum doesn't lose weight.
No.
But actually the calorific intake in that, I know is wine and it's not healthy and there's absolutely fuck all nutritional value in that diet whatsoever. But she doesn't, sometimes she'll stay the same and sometimes she might, well, I don't really think she's put on, but like she's still a big woman. I just think her body's adjusted to that life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because I can agree. Like my mum and dad, like my mum actually rang me. Well, mum and dad rang me yesterday. It was like, oh, your mum wants a plan off you. Like she wants to like lose a little bit. And like even just with what they eat, and you're like, how the fuck are you functioning? Like my mum will wake up and she'll have a slice of toast, probably like something really small for lunch, and then in the evening they'll probably have a takeaway, like a Chinese takeaway or something, and you're just like, how the fuck are you functioning? I just don't get it. It's mad.
It is bizarre. And if my mum weighs like 18 stone and like 5'7",
yeah,
I would have thought her calories would need to be, you know, around.
I guess it depends on like the energy.
She's on her feet all day. She literally works in a very active job and she has to physically restrain kids. Like there's a lot of hard graft. She walks the dogs daily. Like she's not sat on her ass doing nothing all day. She is very active.
What's her like energy like?
Just how it's always been. Oh, it's been my whole life. Like she's honest to God drank a bottle of wine every night since I must have been at least 10, if not younger. And that's 19 years. She's had at least a bottle of wine every night without fail, or rum. Very occasionally she'll have rum and Coke. And so all she drinks, all my mum drinks, is coffee and full fat Coke. So I guess the Coke is where the calories maybe are made up.
Yeah. But yeah, like maybe, I don't really know.
It's bizarre. And that's why when like I think some people who like going right back, like the concept that people are like, you know, you have a calorie deficit is the only way to lose weight. It is, but I'm sure there's got to be an element of actually how your life looked before you went in that deficit and actually what the nutritional value of that deficit is. It can't just be as simple as being a deficit, because I could be in a deficit and eat a takeaway every single night and just have one meal in an evening, and I would have been quite happy doing that previously, but the nutritional value in that deficit is not right.
Yeah, it's essentially the way to lose body fat is like your expenditure, so energy out needs to be more than what's going in. That's literally it.
But it can't just be that. It can't.
If you think about what the calories your mum eats, which is probably not a lot really, and you think about how active she is throughout the day, her expenditure is going to be way more than what she's taken in. Way more.
Therefore she should be losing weight.
You would think so, yeah.
but there is calories in fluid as well. I do think that sometimes when people are counting calories, they absolutely miss the fact that if you're having a full fat Coke or you're having a milkshake or even a fruit juice at the supermarket, like all those have calories in, don't they? Like there is still calorie intake regardless. Like I know it's fluid and you're not actually eating it, it's still part of your deficit.
Yeah, but like the alcohol is a diuretic, so it's going to make her retain water. So, and if you think about the types of food she's eating as well, like it's not necessarily like the same thing every single day, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
I shit you not, right? It rotates between maybe this is how simple life is. Maybe she'll have different flavored crisps, and she'll either flip between Philadelphia or she'll have a cheese and chive dip. But literally, if you come to this house before I lived here, Mum's fridge is a shelf of full fat Coke and then piles of Philadelphia cheese and some dips. That's it.
Because like when you're changing up food sources here and there, it's gonna like alter your sodium levels, which again is gonna make you retain water and not retain water, and that's gonna show on the scales. So this is why they say when you do have like a meal plan, it is probably better, more like optimal to stick to the same things every single day. So you are keeping like a sodium level like balanced.
And I also think that I don't speak with nutritional information or background, I just speak with people I've met. That menopause, the impact of menopause is huge.
Yeah.
Like, and the volume of people that I worked with that spoke about like body shape and things like that are probably similar to my mum, that actually if menopause slows down your metabolism, then she's just not metabolizing food effectively. Do you know what I mean?
It's all hormones, things like that. And again, like hormones impacts sodium levels. So that's when, that leads to like water retention and that kind of like, it's almost like a pregnancy look.
Yeah, because I worked with a lady who wrote a food diary. And she wrote this food diary fucking religiously. And I honestly believe that was all she ate in a day. And I truly believe that. And she still wasn't losing weight. And she was like in her 60s. And she was definitely in a deficit. But she had been tracking her food for so long of her life. And had always gone to this level. I just think her body... It would be interesting to me whether if people allowed themselves to have a proper nutritional refeed or go back to maintenance as such and understood what maintenance was for like a period of time, that then when they went back into a deficit, I feel like people's bodies would respond like more effectively.
Well, yeah, like anybody, like whenever people start with me, they don't go straight into a deficit. They literally sit at maintenance for like 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how they respond, because like realistically, when people are dieting before they go over to coaching, they're probably not eating, I want to say they're not eating enough and they're not eating the right things and this and that. So once you actually put them on a maintenance like diet, so to say, with probably, I always go with a 70-30%. So 70% of the meals will be like whole, nutritious, fibrous foods that is going to increase satiety. And then you've got the 30% that's like the chocolate bar, packets of crisps. Like you can have that in there. And then once they actually eat that, you'll see the weight will just fly off them the first few weeks. It's obviously not body fat, but a lot of it is a reduction in like water retention and all of that, because sodium levels are like dramatically dropped and this and that. And then once they've kind of plateaued there, that's when it gives you the indication of, right, we can now go into a deficit because the body's going to respond really, really well to it.
And that's what I wonder whether like those people that I know that have been in deficits, whether if they just go back in maintenance and feel like they're stuck, those people that are just like tired of tracking and tired of getting nowhere, and and I do think when you're in that phase, sometimes you'll probably eat without realizing you're eating because you're so tired, and that's why you're not in a deficit anymore. But I do think I know in like your industry that you get so lean, but then you go into a period of maintenance before you then start dieting down again. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it'll be
then you start upping.
It's maintenance for more so like a recovery aspect, because it's not healthy to be in a deficit for a long period of time. Like, it's just not healthy for your body. You know, it impacts recovery, it impacts like training performance, and you know, training performance is the biggest driver to retain muscle tissue. So if your training performance goes, then you know, muscle tissue is affected. So yeah, it's like a maintenance for a while. It's like a health phase where you need to get everything back up to like a physiological range, and then that's when you would go back into like a growing phase where you would go into a surplus. And then again, it's like a pullback depending on body composition. If you start like seeing quite a lot of visceral fat, that's when you would pull back slightly, get the body composition under control to an optimal place, to then go back into growing, and then pull back, and then it'd be like a pre-prep where you do like a priming phase to then go into prep.
Yeah, because what is the body fat percentage of people that go on stage? Like, what is the optimal percentage you want people to be at?
I think for females, again, it's all going to be like, it's not like this is the body fat percentage you need to be. Like, it is literally going to be person dependent. Like, everybody's different. I want to say it's probably down to like 10% maybe.
And what's a healthy range for someone?
For females, I think it's 22 to like 28%.
So in my head,
it's different percentage brackets for different age groups.
Oh, it's done on age, not height.
Yeah, it's done on age, from what I can remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like the majority of females like that I work with, the bracket is like 22 to like 28%. That's what they class as optimal.
So in my head, I would hope, well, to try and get to like below. In my head, I was thinking when we get on the stage, I wouldn't just be below 30.
You don't know what below 30% body fat looks like on you.
Well, at the minute,
that would be unrealistic to put that expectation on yourself.
My body fat index, is that the same thing?
Body fat index? What? No, I don't know.
That's when they do your weight and height and then measure your body fat index on one of them. Measuring your weight, measuring your height.
Oh no, I've never done one of them.
So it says that, so my percentage of body fat is 36 point something. So I'm still classed as like obese, well, morbidly obese, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my...
No, I think when I was, just before I did my dieting phase, because of the muscle tissue, like I'm classed as obese for my height.
You're fucking not.
I know, but I am. That's why that fucking...
I don't understand how that is true.
What?
Like, I just feel like you're lying, because that just can't be true.
I'm not lying, I'm telling you.
Like, I was actually saying to someone yesterday about you, and I was like, and she says that she was fat, and I was like, there's no fucking way that girl's ever been fat.
Oh, I was, trust me. I was.
Yeah, so I always just thought in my head, I mean, I'd love to get within like a normal range. I just think realistically, what they say for my weight and height is like between, I'm sure it's like 12 stone.
What's that in
kilos?
Yeah.
I think it's about 80, maybe. I've got the thing here. I just remembered.
What is it?
So this is what you get when you go on one of them scale things. So this was like in February. So
wait, is this like a month after your operation?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have been massively inflamed then?
I think, to be fair, I think I'm still fucking fatter now than I was then. So I weighed on here 121 kilos. I mean, now I'm weighing like 123, am I? So I am actually fatter now than I was post-op.
That doesn't mean you're fatter.
Like, let's not kid ourselves. And then it says my height was 5'11". And then it says BMI 37. So the percentage of body fat in me is 37%.
Yeah.
It then goes on to say, so for my height, right, I should be between 60 kilos and 81 kilos. So for other people, that's 9.5 stone to basically 13 stone. That's what I should be for the doctors to consider me healthy.
Wow.
So if I'm currently 19 stone, then I need to lose at least another 6 stone to be considered healthy, at least.
That's fucking mad, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there is still a lot of fat on me.
If you think about like the muscle that you've got, like I weigh 58 kilos.
Yeah, so they're basically saying that my leanness, if I was at the bottom end of being healthy range, I should weigh the same as you. And just for reference, like I'm 5'11" and Alice is 4'11".
Yeah.
Alice is very petite and I'm built like a brick shit house.
That's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Wow. No wonder there's like this warped kind of perception on how we should look or what we should weigh and this and that.
But I literally yesterday said to Mum, that what was I eating? Oh, I got a Freddo. I had a Freddo last night. She was like, you shouldn't be eating that. She fucking did it again. She said, you should be eating that. And I was like, why shouldn't I be eating this? And she said, because it's bad. And I was like, that's how the world has told you food is, but that's not how the world is telling me food is. So I'll do what I like need to do. And you like, put out. But it's just such an era. Like,
yeah,
salad and chicken and
no carbs.
Yeah, not even like rice or pasta. It is literally like you live your life on salad and chicken. And if you eat anything else, I mean, my mum saw how much food I ate for that truck pull and saw that like none of my body changed as such. Well, not like I didn't put weight on or anything like that. It's just crazy. And also I wanted to ask, this has been such a weird podcast. I wanted to ask, does the weight you move in the gym symbolize how much muscle mass you have?
No.
Because surely the weight in the gym is also about your weight.
No.
Yeah, because like, so I leg press now.
Yeah.
I could probably get back to my 1 rep max at 410, but I weigh similar to what I weighed when I managed to do the 410. But then when I was if I get like leaner, will I still be able to like leg press 410?
It depends. Like they say when you're in a deficit that your strength is compromised, but if your deficit is set up optimally and there is like optimal protocols in place, strength shouldn't be compromised. I mean, yes, when you are like really, really like if you were prepping, if you were like back end of prep, yes, like you're going to be at that point where fatigue is really, really high. So you're just not going to have that, like you're not going to have the energy kind of stored because you're eating next to nothing. So, but like we could just say for me, for example, like I weigh 58 kilo. You saw the comparison of my photos, me weighing exactly the same. And like when I started, I could not lift the weights that I can lift now.
Yeah, but so if like let's
not to say that, oh, I'm at 58 kilo, this is what I can lift. It's just not applicable because back when I was 58 kilo, when I first started this 2 years ago, I can't lift half the weights I was lifting now, but I still weighed the same.
Because I always just wonder that, like, if what I can lift in a gym is necessarily down to because I have weight behind me rather than muscularity.
But you do have a lot of muscle in your legs. Like, you are strong.
But even on my upper, so the other day I managed to do like 4 reps or whatever at 22 and a half shoulder pressing, dumbbells. Yeah. I mean, that was a fucking struggle, but I only managed to do that during the truck pull training, and then I managed to get up to there again. And I was obviously I did less of them now than I did previously before I could do a proper set.
Yeah.
But does that not mean, is that not just because I've got heavier, like weight wise, rather than because I've got muscle there?
You would have acquired quite a lot of muscle through the training that we did, like for the truck pull and everything like that. And even just like, you know, after, like when we were doing the shoot, like you were training really, really hard for that as well. And like muscle memory can come back really, really quick. Especially when you are as experienced as like someone like you. I don't really know like the whole scientific, like I don't know like if it's proven, but like you would think anybody that's kind of like a bigger build would naturally be stronger.
Yeah. I don't
know if it's because like you've used to have to on a day-to-day basis carry around such body weight. Like,
I think that massively helped my legs. I've never had to, like, honestly, I've never trained a calf in my life.
I think that's how you could kind of relate it. Like, your body has had to adapt to carrying around like a large amount of weight. So like that is
let's say I get to, like, this is just my brain thinking out loud, by the way. This is how bizarre my head works, okay? So if I get to like 60 kilos, let's say I get down to what the government say is like a healthy weight, and you're 60 kilos, would there be an expected, so would if I lift now what you lift, so let's say you shoulder press 22 and a half, but you're obviously substantially leaner than I am, that actually, so your muscle definition, should that look at the same as my muscle definition? Like,
you can't compare. You just can't, because
I find it bizarre. Like, it blows my mind.
We literally have no idea what you would look like at 60 kilo. We have no idea.
So what if we get there, like, and there's nothing? Like, what if we go through all this and I get to stage and I'm actually just a flake?
You won't be.
You don't know that, do you?
I mean, like, you've never seen yourself. Like, I've never seen you down to such low body fat. It's literally the unknown.
Well, there's probably leanest I would have been was for that photo shoot, and that was at about 16 and a half stone. So,
but even then, that wasn't a true reflection because you had the excess skin.
But I'm 2.5 stone heavier than I was then. So now I feel like we're way behind.
It doesn't necessarily mean, just because the scales are up, it doesn't mean that you're fatter. You're probably still.
I definitely still feel incredibly swollen around my middle.
Yeah.
My midsection. And especially on my left. Do you know what's weird as well? See, people, we should do a surgery one, because honestly, the shit I can tell people about surgery. Like here, everyone that's watching on YouTube, you have like your hip bone.
Yeah.
Well, I've never felt a hip bone.
Did you not feel it for the photo shoot?
No, because my overhang would be there.
Oh, right, I see.
So, like, it's when I lay in bed, this is what like ex-fat people do, by the way. Like, we lay in bed and like fill ourselves up to like I can like feel my pelvis. And that's where like the head foot comes from, because how can I be physically heavier but yet feel more of myself than I've ever felt before?
Muscle. You've just gained more muscle tissue.
It's just weird, isn't it?
Like, it's a proper mind fuck. Like this morning, because last week I was down to the 56 kilos, and then over this past week my weight has creeped up, but it's just because of where I am in my cycle. Like, it literally is just what it is. And I said to Erin this morning, I was like, I would be lying if I said that seeing that the scales had gone to 58 didn't piss me off, because it did. I was like, why? Obviously I knew why it was happening, but it still pissed me off. But then when I saw my visuals, I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Like,
so on your visuals, anyone that hasn't, if Alice can figure out how to pop it up on the screen, because I have no idea, that'd be great.
You put it on CapCut?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would just import. So I'd have to send you the photo.
Oh, and then we'll just import it.
Then you import it and you can move it over to like where you want to put it.
So there's a bit on you, on your ribs. Right. So as your like torso goes in, so here's your tits, and then you have like your torso, and then on like the inside of your torso where your abs are, everyone has that like line. Right at the top of the line, there's like two little lines that go out. Is that actually your ribs?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to look at the picture now.
Just because, you know, I've like analysed these photos to try and understand, is that like a weird muscle that grows, or is that like ribs, or
is it that one?
No, it's your front one. Your front facing.
Oh, my flared. What, that one?
No. Literally you
that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just my abs.
So them little dimples at the sides, that's abs.
Oh, wait. Oh, what, this bit?
Yeah.
Oh, they're my ribs.
Oh, that's weird, isn't it?
I thought you was on about them little divots there, because that's just the top bit of my abs.
No, on the sides of it, they're little bumps.
Yeah, they're my ribs.
See, I find that bizarre.
And you can see my lats, which is like goals. Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go, everybody. I hope this is really educational lesson.
Yeah, you see them there.
Yeah, so I can see your ribs like clearly there. But on the other one, I think it's just how it bulges out at the sides. It made me wonder, but you know, I've never seen a normal body really, so who knows?
Yes, they are my ribs.
There we go. Well, that was completely off track for anything we were going to talk about today. So we were going to talk about manifestation today.
Yeah. Right, what time? We've got, it's 6:30.
Yeah, so we'll not talk about manifestation. We'll do that another day because we have our webinar. So yeah, I really hope people enjoy this absolute rambles.
Yeah, like
but don't even know what we titled this episode. Chat shit with Vikki and Alice.
Yeah, basically.
I feel like hopefully though, people, I'd like to think that my brain might work like a lot of people's. It might not. But,
what with your theories?
Yeah, and the thoughts and like
maybe.
the questions that come after, that maybe like other people have those questions.
Maybe. To be honest, I did say to my client the other day during PT, I was like, I suggested that we did one of our next podcasts as like a fun, relaxed one. I feel like the past couple have been quite like serious. So this can be a fun one.
Yeah, well, they need to. I'd like them to be educational. Yeah,
but we also need to be us too.
Well, that is me. I'm very educational.
Educational on mind.
Unlike the manifestation one, obviously we wouldn't do it on the webinar, but I was going to talk about like some conspiracy theories.
On what?
Oh, about pyramids, you know, about Egypt.
Oh, what? How it's like built underground?
No, I haven't heard that.
What? So, right, let me just draw.
Built underground?
Yeah, so.
Well, this was not what was in my webinar.
Sorry.
Are you drawing a bloody pyramid?
Right, okay, so this is like ground.
Yeah. That's a very good 3D drawing. I'm quite impressed.
Thanks. And then they reckon it's like this underground.
Do they?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Oh, I've seen loads, especially on TikTok.
Oh, well, it must be true then. TikTok did it, right? You heard it on TikTok first.
Oh, I fell into a TikTok hole for the first time the other day. I'm such a bad person.
Of what?
Just scrolling.
Oh, I thought you meant like something specific. So I end up like clicking on a video and then clicking the next video to see what that video was actually about, and then the next one.
What, like stories?
Yeah, or when people have like part 1 to 10 about a Jeremy Kyle episode that I've probably seen a million times, but I just flip through them anyway just because shits and gigs in it. You know what I mean?
It's great. I wish they would bring that back.
Hey,
Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah, I like Jeremy. Well, people thought he's a bit of a knob, but I'm quite controversial. It's really interesting, isn't it? That I like to think I'm a very balanced person, but I like Jeremy Kyle. I like Piers Morgan.
Is Piers Morgan a bit of a dick?
Well, people would argue he is, and he's misogynistic, and that, you know, I personally do think that we throw around words these days like no one's business, and actually, if we get to the core root of what that word was, it's not always representative of someone's behaviour. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, anyway, we shall crack on with the webinar and speak to everyone next week.
See you then, guys.